bring in a good friend of mine who's going to be the closing speaker. He is closing keynote speaker. He's going to present to you guys a wonderful, wonderful art demonstration to capture everything that we kind of talked about and kind of bring it full life and full circle in a painting presentation. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you guys Mr. Lazaro Lugo.
Hey, thank you so much, Quentin. I'd like to begin by first and foremost just honoring you and the rest of your team for having me this afternoon to participate in this wonderful conference. I enjoyed every segment. And so this afternoon, I would like to kind of round things up and bring things to a close by presenting you with some artwork. So my name is Lazaro Lugo, as Quentin said. In my professional life, I work as the fatherhood coordinator for Staten Island Healthy Start, which is in New York. I'm surrounded by a wonderful team there, and it is certainly a privilege to be here today and to participate in this conference. And just want to send a big shout out and just a warm greeting to all of you for joining in and the rest of our Healthy Start family across the nation. As Bo spoke earlier, we have 101 sites across the nation, and it just is really, really amazing to see all the work that we've been doing, especially after, on the tail end of all of the obstacles that we've been faced with in the last year plus. So today, I'm so excited. We've been having all these presentations and all this dynamic information, as Quentin has stated, such phenomenal speakers. And I am certainly happy to be here with you today. And so I would just like to begin by saying that, I'm really a firm believer that art puts the world together. It puts the world back together. As an artist, I know oftentimes art reflects so much of society and who we are. And so this presentation that I'll be doing for you today is called The Art of Fatherhood, because in my leisure time and in my professional time, my family and I are practicing artists. I am happily married. I have 4 children. I have a blended family. I have 2 bonus children and 2 biological children that I absolutely adore. And standing before you today, I am a reflection of that family. And so I want to begin with that. And so I just want you to relax. We had a great day. We're coming to the end of a great conference. I know I'm not only walking away full with all of the information, but I'm certainly walking away satisfied. And, a lot of times that's a big difference. Some people come to get full, others come and they leave satisfied. And I'm sure everyone can attest that they're leaving satisfied this afternoon. So many people came and they spoke and they gave PowerPoint presentations. And so I come before you humbly with the gift and the talent that my Creator has given me. I like to use art as a form of therapy. I like to use art to tell a story. And so I come before you humbly with my paintbrush. And I just want to begin. And what I really want to concentrate on is, this has been a conference, Reflections of Fatherhood. And, when you think about reflections are great opportunities for us as individuals, as human beings, not only as males, but also as females, to really look back and to purposefully and insightfully process situations that we may have had in the past, right? Especially after like a long, hard day. I know that for myself, I just recently, my wife and I, our oldest child is 25. We have a 22-year-old and we have a 13-year-old. And just recently, we received another child, another son, at the age of 45. And when I'm in the field and I'm working with dads, I work with dads from, all, social dynamics, and social economic, levels. And so, oftentimes when I meet dads, I tell them I'm a practicing father. That's first and foremost. And so for today, for your consideration, I like to begin by presenting this empty canvas. So this is a canvas. I'm going to apply some paint to the canvas. And as I apply the paint, just want to tell you a story and just speak about reflection, right? Because, reflection, when you think about it, when you sit down, reflection is oftentimes something that we do to look back on our life and to look back on situations that we may have been confronted with. And there's different forms, of course, of reflection. You can either reflect by articulating or expressing yourself. And oftentimes as men, I know for many men that haven't had good role models in their lives, they find it really difficult to communicate. So whenever they're offended, their feelings are offended, oftentimes what they do is they resort to certain feelings, and instead of identifying things for what they are, they would oftentimes say that they've been disrespected or been misunderstood, instead of saying that their feelings have been hurt. So reflections, of course, are a way to articulate. That's one form. Another form is, of course, we know and we spoke about today, is reflection is simply put is a way of learning when you look back and you process something. As you can see, I'm applying some paint here to the canvas, and I'm starting with these really nice colors because, oftentimes when we reflect on things and we look back and we think about things, we can either, one, reflect on the good things in our lives, or in turn, we can reflect on the negative things in our lives. And so I'm applying these colors here on the canvas, and I ask you, of course, to bear with me. Also, please excuse me for giving you my back. As you see, I'm going to be applying some paint here on the canvas. So I just, just wanted to pardon myself for that. And so we see here two opposites, right? We see both sides of the spectrum. On one end, we have a very, very bright, vibrant yellow. And when we reflect, we think about those good times that we had, right? Accomplishments, times when somebody has given us a positive affirmation and just really called and praised us and, and caused us to feel elated and feel like important, right? And then we have those times where we've made some poor judgments. We've made some bad choices in our lives. And as a result of those choices, there's been trauma, there's been heartache, and there's been pain, right? But I would venture out today and say that pain isn't always a bad thing. As we know, we go through life and we have experiences, and those experiences cause us to become the sum total of the person that we are today. So throughout those experiences, even though you have two opposite colors, you're faced with different situations. And these situations, they allow a transition to take place, right? So today, we spoke about reflection in many different forms. We spoke about reflection and internal reflection. We spoke about reflection in a verbal way, articulating ourselves. We had panel discussions. The women and Brother Maximilio spoke in voices and very openly and very transparently spoke about how men and women can support one another, how we can support fathers. We know this is a fatherhood conference, and we set out to really bring some good insight and some light to how we can strengthen our fathers in the community. And so we verbalized and we processed some things by voicing our experiences, those reflections. So as you can see here, oftentimes in our minds, our reflection could cause a multitude of different emotions and feelings because of experiences that we had. So as you can see, this canvas that I'm presenting to you today really doesn't look like much, right? It looks like I'm just throwing some paint together here. And although the paint is colorful, as you'll see is, the colors begin to change. And oftentimes I like to associate colors with feelings. So in reflecting, I know for myself, I've had times where I've had mountaintop experiences, and my reflections, they gave me a sense of confidence, right? I accomplished a goal, and it gave me a sense of confidence to be able to look at other situations in my life and go at it with the same fervor that I had when I accomplished that goal that allowed me to accomplish the goal. And when we're working with men and we're working with families and children, it's so important to always give them a platform for them to reflect and really strengthen themselves and use reflection as a learning tool. Because most of the time with my grown children, I like to think that they would have learned from my own experiences. But one thing I know for sure is that their experiences, their own personal experiences, combined with reflection, gives them the opportunity to really take and accept responsibility for their life. And we know, of course, that responsibility is a compound word, right? So it's two words put in one. And when you come to understand what that means, it simply means that you have gained the ability to respond to situations adequately. But we know that that comes with practice, right? And so, as you can see, these colors right here, they represent, some colors represent mountaintop experiences, positive experiences that we've had in our lives. To see oftentimes the reflection of our lives. As Bo spoke earlier, he shared some great insight about self-efficacy, about having confidence, as opposed to, words synonymous to self-efficacy is self-confidence, self-assuredness, the ability to have, a determination in your spirit to do something. But the opposite of that, the antonym of self-efficacy is diffidence. It's just really having this, this false sense of shyness and humility when there's really no confidence there. It's a lack of self-confidence. And so today, as we close, we just want to, remind everybody and encourage everybody that reflection is a good thing, but it could also make you feel, at times, make you feel inadequate. You can, excuse me one second. At times, with reflection, you can hit some periods where there's a lot of pain and remembering some disappointments, especially as parents. As parents, oftentimes we're faced with difficulties in parenting. And as a result of that, we have that tape playing in the back of our heads that's saying that we're not a good parent. But thankfully, we know today, especially through the information and through the interaction that we had today, we know that that's not the case, that a parent is just doing the best that they can. And so that's what we do in the work in the field that we're in. We're constantly encouraging parents to reflect and to hold on to the things that are meaningful and to the things that matter. So many times as human beings in our nature, we tend to have this default, which is we are Velcro for bad and we are Teflon for good. So all the good things in our life, oftentimes we forget what we should remember, and we remember what we should forget, ironically enough. And so a lot of parents and a lot of fathers, they're faced with this reality that, you know, I've done all these good things and I'm doing really good, but you know what? Today I had this failure, I had this hiccup. And as a result, when I go to sleep, instead of me reflecting on all the good things, I turn around and I reflect on the negative things. So I thank you for bearing with me. We're going somewhere with this. I hope that the colors, the visual colors, are stimulating, because I oftentimes say when we meet people, we can see a variety of different colors in people's lives that represent their situation. And they may look a little something like this. They may look like a hot mess, really. When you look at it, you look at all the different colors, you look at the ups and downs, you look at the mood swings, you look at, you know, the reasons that people behave the way that they do. And then you ask yourself, why? What's the reason for this? And you can be assured that there's not only, there's certainly reasons, but oftentimes those reasons get confused for excuses. Like people are making excuses not to do better in their struggles, but they have reasons. And so I love Maximilio spoke earlier, and he spoke about that, about, you know, asking a person when you meet a dad, asking him, how are you doing, right? Because so oftentimes we know that society is just holding us accountable, but they're only holding us accountable for us to, of course, provide for our families, to protect our families. But when it comes to our thoughts and ideas, a lot of times people don't ask, they just expect you to do. And so what I'm presenting to you now is this wonderful collage of colors that represent individuals, represent people, not only males in this case, because we're talking about, you know, a fatherhood conference on reflections, but this is what reflections are. When you reflect, we have to accept that it's not only the good, but it's also the bad, right? And I loved in the dialogue that was taking place in the voices segment, I love how the women said, you know, I don't like the word bad. I don't like to hear what, you know, to hear people say, oh, you know, this is a bad parent, so to speak, you know, because we know that with every experience, you have the option. You know, we know that change is inevitable. We've heard that, right? Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. So we're going to change whether we like it or not. There's going to be changes. And these changes are going to reflect this exactly. Okay. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that we are who we are today because we are the sum total of our experiences as mothers, as fathers, as children, as co-workers. This is our story. This is who we are. But we've gotten through that through the experiences. And when we reflect, there's times of joy and then there's times of sadness. So, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, before I leave today, that I present these colors to you, because these colors are a reflection of us. And art oftentimes is a reflection of our society. We know in our society that we have taken a turn and things seem to be getting better when we are really considering and including the dads in the family dynamic, as we see things change from maternal child health, you know, just the wording itself for so long, for so many years, is now beginning to change. And now we're starting to incorporate some language, of course, that is giving dads a voice and also giving them a place, a sense of autonomy in the process to be recognized. So we know that when you look at a painting like this is considered an abstract painting. We have a variety of different colors. We have darker colors, we have lighter colors. We have colors that oftentimes blend And this is exactly what happens in our lives as we reflect. We're able to take situations and we're able to blend them out. I love the word blended because when we talk about families, oftentimes we have so many blended families. We have, mom that comes to the picture with a child, dad that comes to the picture with a child. And I don't think there's a better experience than to be able to stand in and just an honor of a young child that was given to you through your marriage, and to be able to recognize that bonus child and to contribute and make deposits to that child. I am I am a man who has been blessed to do so, and I am a recipient of bonus children. Now, as we come to a close, I know oftentimes what happens in our lives is reflections can cause knee-jerk reactions. And I stand before you and I honor my family. And I know with my oldest daughter from my first relationship, my first child, I know I've had some bumps in the road, and those bumps in the road oftentimes have caused spillage. And in learning to heal and to reconcile, there were moments where, I hit a sore spot, or she hit a sore spot in our communication. And as a result of that, there was a knee-jerk reaction and there was spillage. And here it is, the spillage on our lives, they can enhance our communication. So we're talking about reflection. Taking the time out to look back. As you can see, this painting, this abstract, could easily be any one of us. It certainly can be me. And when we come across people and we see these vibrant colors, we can admire them for what they are. And today, as we speak about reflection, I just want to encourage you to know that deep within, there's a deeper meaning. And so as we look here, I present to you that we are a representation of family. We are the sum total of our experiences. This is symbolic of who we are, our past, our present, our future. Our past offers us insight. It offers us the ability of hindsight, to look back. They say hindsight is 20/20. Through hindsight, coupled with insight, which is the present life that we live today, we're able to build up the ability to look forward and to make better decisions, to act responsibly, to accept responsibility, and to say, I dropped the ball, I can recover from this. And so through that, you gain what's called foresight. And so I want to present to you today this. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present. I hope that this segment pay tribute to the day. And as you leave this conference today, I hope that you leave knowing that your reflection matters. And if you speak about it, and oftentimes so many folks are ashamed to speak and reflect or articulate some things in their lives that were difficult, but that difficulty has come to change. And so we encourage dads all the time to accept the past. You can't change that. You're here in now, in the present, and also you have a future. And that future, determined on the work that you do and the reflection that you do, you can reflect your life, your positivity onto your children and your family. So with that, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, Quentin, to you and your whole team. I want to honor my Healthy Start team here in Staten Island. I have an awesome team. They're very supportive and great. We're doing great work in the community. I want to thank the the National Healthy Start platform, all of my colleagues, and to honor you as well, the audience, for being here today and for allowing me to present and share my gift with you. Remember, art puts the world back together. Thank you so much.
What an amazing, amazing gift you have, Lazaro. I mean, you tied in every single aspect of what we talked about today into your painting. Very open, very vulnerable, real life situations, real feelings in terms of reflecting and not allowing our reflection from our past to control our future. You know, that we still have a future to keep going. And how can we change the narrative? How can we still engage? How can we still help each other as fathers and as mothers and as a family? How can we keep it together to keep moving forward? And you tied it in so beautiful. And I'm so grateful that you was able to come on today and share a gift with all of us today. I hope the audience was able to take something from this and hold on to it and apply that to your personal life, to your professional life, to your relationship life, and use that in a positive way to become better and to also to reflect on who you are as an individual and how to continue to get better. This was an overall dynamic conference. I know everyone is tired of the whole Zoom and virtual world, but this was a dynamic, and I'm grateful for everyone that partaked in this conference to help this to be a success. MPHI, Lazaro, the guest speakers, and Norris, all of our presenters today, the Voices panel crew. I'm really, really appreciative to having everyone create an impact to help the audience see what it is to be a father and what it is to help mothers and fathers come together and create a unit. And this presentation will be available after the conference. So if you want to see this and review some things, this will be available. So we'll let you know about that. Also, the gift cards for participation points in the platform that we use. We're going to be sending out e-gift cards. So be on the lookout for that. Recordings for all the sessions will be available by the end of the day today. For any audience members that missed the presentations, that's going to be available for your viewings. Again, I'm so grateful and thankful that all of you participated, and this is where we leave the conference. So I really appreciate that. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to reach out to myself. I'm sorry about the difficulties with the Dr. Mallow's participation session, but I'm grateful that everything turned out the way it did, and looking forward to potentially next year conference. So thank you all so much, and I'll leave you be. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.